Sometimes you stumble across a product that is so effective, so innovative, and just so awesome that you wonder how you ever lived without it. Well, one such product for me is the Smart Toilet, otherwise known as the electric bidet. It's been a real game changer in our household, but not everybody knows what they're all about. So in this video, I'm hoping to change all of that. And I know it's a bit of a strange one, but hear me out, because I'm about to discuss what people don't really talk about in polite company, and I promise I'll do my best to keep it clean. If you've clicked on this video, then chances are you're curious about smart toilets, but maybe you don't know a lot about them. It's not surprising really, because they're a relatively new invention, appearing in Japan about 20 years ago. But the simple bidet has been around for about 200 years in one form or another. Compare that to modern toilet paper, which has been around for a lot less time. It's very common to see bidets in Europe. In fact, when we lived in Italy, I don't remember ever walking into a bathroom that didn't have a bidet. And those were the type that you see in hotels or in homes, and it just looks like a little toilet next to the actual toilet. It's a little bowl with a tap in the back, and those are quite good too. But I want to talk about the electric bidet, and this type is very common in countries like Japan, where they were invented. So you see them in hotels, in homes, and in public toilets all over the country. But what are they exactly? Well, a smart toilet has a little control panel off to the side or sometimes on the wall. So when you operate it, you control a little stream of water that is directed to your butt. And some of them also have a little stream at the front of the toilet for women. And don't worry, because the little spray of water doesn't work unless you're actually sitting on the toilet. So you're not going to get an impromptu shower. They can be integrated into the toilet itself, or you can install them on top of the toilet, which is the type that we have. It's a lower cost option, but also very effective. I'll link the one that we have in the description below in case you want to check that out. It is really reliable and works flawlessly every time. So besides the basic washing function, they can also have some other features, such as a blow dryer, a seat warmer, and even little functions like a privacy button, which you can press, plays a little flushing noise or sometimes a tune. But keep watching and I'll talk more about these more high-tech features later in the video. In some cultures, like here in Australia and the US, not much is really known about the smart toilet because the average person doesn't come across them in day-to-day life. And it's human nature to be suspicious and even afraid of things that we don't really understand or aren't familiar with, which is why I think the smart toilet gets so much hate and negativity. Some people are just downright suspicious of them. When it comes up in conversation, you get people that are really polarized by the topic. Some people say that they would never use one. And I've even seen videos that sort of describe them as being gimmicky and unnecessary, which is quite surprising because I think once you've tried it, you can't really go back. And the people that are very negative about them haven't actually tried them. So it's like the old saying, you don't know until you try. I think that really applies to smart toilets. And not many people really talk about them because it's not sort of something you'd bring up in dinner conversation, for example. So I ask you to keep an open mind while I tell you the top 5 reasons why I think you might want to consider a smart toilet for your home. Whether you're thinking of buying one, or you're deeply suspicious of them, or even negative about them, or just curious, then this video is for you. But before we get started, I am going to discuss things that maybe might make you a little bit squeamish, but I will try and be vague about it and not be too detailed. In fact, just to be a bit more fun, why don't we use the word tinkle for urination and sparkle for the other thing. The first and most obvious benefit is that you will save on toilet paper. Do you remember during the pandemic how people lost their minds about toilet paper? At least in Australia anyway. The shelves were empty. People were just hoarding toilet paper like they were hoarding food. So why were they hoarding it? Well, toilet paper is a necessity, for most people anyway, but with a smart toilet, it doesn't have to be. You can greatly reduce the amount of toilet paper that you use. For tinkles, you'll still use it, and also you'll use a little bit of it to pat dry after you wash yourself with the bidet after a sparkle. But generally speaking, you will use a lot less of it. Besides the money saving here, you're also saving the environment with less paper production and also less waste going back into the ground. Another obvious one, I know, but think about it this way. If you were eating a chocolate ice cream and you got it all over your face, what would be the best way to get yourself clean? Bearing in mind that you don't want the chocolate to be visible on your face and you don't want that uncomfortable, sticky feeling of ice cream either. So would you grab a dry tissue and wipe it off, or would you want to wash it off? The dry tissue would just kind of smear the residue all over your face and not really remove it. And the more that you rub to try and get it off, then you'll sort of get the irritation and it might hurt a little bit. And maybe it gets into the little crevices around your nose and your mouth and you just can't get it out. And so that causes irritation for you as well. It's not ideal, is it? But if you washed it off with water, you'd be getting a better clean. It would be quicker and there'd be no irritation. I think you know the comparison that I'm drawing here. And the added complication, if it's a sparkly movement, is that there's bacteria involved and odor and possible infection too. With a smart toilet, you can get a thorough wash without irritation and you'll be feeling more confident and comfortable all through the day. And speaking of irritation, this is another reason to consider a smart toilet if you have sensitive skin. There are two ways that using toilet paper can cause irritation. The first is just by the action of rubbing the toilet paper on that very sensitive part of your body. I know that you can get brands that make toilet paper for sensitive skin, but in the end, you are still doing that mechanical action. The second way is the incomplete removal of the sparkly matter. It can get into small crevices and cause redness and irritation. And I think we've all experienced that kind of itchy, sore feeling, and it can be very miserable. This is especially pertinent for people with hemorrhoids. It can be really difficult to clean that area. In fact, the standard medical advice is to clean it with warm water. They often recommend using a squeeze bottle with warm water and just kind of washing that area after you have a sparkly movement. But why would you do that when you can get a smart toilet and it will just take care of that for you? Dermatologists recommend not taking a shower every day. Most of us just don't need it. The skin on our bodies just doesn't need washing that often, and overwashing can cause dryness, flakiness, irritation. It just breaks down that skin barrier, which can cause other problems like infections, dermatitis, eczema, and so on. Of course, there are exceptions to this depending on how much physical activity you do during the day, how much you sweat, and also your occupation, how dirty you get. You may need to shower a little bit more often than this. But you do still need to maintain good hygiene, and that means having clean hands, clean face, and clean nether regions. A smart toilet is not a replacement for a shower, but it can help you keep your bits clean so that you don't have to shower so often. Plus, if you're generally pretty clean anyway, then your showers can be a bit shorter. Remember, water is a finite resource and we need to do everything we can to conserve it. Have you ever seen a smart toilet in person? They look awesome. All futuristic and space age. They just look really cool. Imagine having one of those in your bathroom. How impressed would your guests be? Or maybe they'd be scared if they haven't seen this video. But either way, it's a great talking point. The latest smart toilets are so aesthetically pleasing. They really elevate your bathroom. Think sleek, modern, minimalistic. Sometimes they come in really cool colors or like a matte black, just something really different. Something out of the ordinary. You wouldn't think it was a toilet. Some of them even have integrated ambient lighting, like under the lid or around the base, with backlit control panels or even remote controls. It's not just adding luxury to your bathroom, but the ultimate practical convenience too. So with all that said, are you convinced? Or are you still wary? So far, I've only talked about the pretty standard electric bidet that we have, and the benefits are amazing. And as we all know, technology is rapidly changing, and with that, the benefits on offer. So here's a quick look at some of the newest and coolest features of new smart toilets that are coming onto the market today. Touch-free operation with the use of motion sensors. So this means that the lid will lift by itself, it will flush without you touching it, and all of this reduced touching means less transmission of germs. And this is particularly great when, like me, you live with a man who never puts the seat down. Self-cleaning mechanisms such as self-cleaning bidet wands, UV disinfecting bowls, antimicrobial surfaces which kill microbes on contact. I love a clean toilet. Built-in air dryers which reduce the need for toilet paper, as well as deodorizers with HEPA filters and charcoal which reduce the smells that can arise in the bathroom. So this means no more nauseating air freshener smell which can mingle with the bathroom smells and create a whole new entity which is really kind of gross. It's often worse than the smells that you're trying to cover. Motion activated night lights, which can help with usability at nighttime. So if you wake up in the middle of the night and you need to go to the bathroom, then there's no more stumbling around in the dark and trying not to wake everyone else up. You can even get color changing ambient lighting, which can be customized for the look and feel of the style of your bathroom. Voice control via smart assistants like Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant, or even smartphone apps as well. And this allows you to customize your smart toilet for your own use. So you can set the seat temperature, the way that the washer comes out of the back of it. And this is particularly useful if there are lots of people in your household and you want to have a custom setting for your toilet experience. Some newer advanced models coming out have health metrics so that you can track things like blood pressure, glucose levels, and bowel movements every day. And this can be integrated into other health tracking devices as well. I love this idea because I think it's really important to not only think about what you're putting into your body, but what's coming out of your body as well. Well, I hope that's given you a little bit more information about one of my top rated household appliances. I know it doesn't seem like a big deal, but honestly, I could never go back to a regular toilet again. I extol the virtues of our bidet whenever I can, and I guess now I can just point people to this video. And just be aware that if you are going to get one, then it will need to have the Australian standard watermark or whatever the equivalent is in your country. It will also need to be installed by a licensed plumber, and you will need to check the approvals and regulations in your area. So let me know in the comments if you would consider getting a smart toilet for your home, or maybe you already have one and you know exactly what I'm on about, or maybe it's still a big no from you. Either way, I would love to hear about it, so let me know. Are you ready to take the plunge? If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to turn on notifications so that you will be informed whenever I upload anything new. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.